and this she told me this early, but I kept like reverting back to it. She said, Murphy, you know everybody don't like you, right? I was like, really?
He's not for everybody.
I mean, it's so easy to love me, But she said, Murphy, everybody don't like you. And it just hit me. I was just like, huh. So I had went through my phase not knowing the language for it, but I was a people pleaser. You want everybody to like you. Oh, I'm cool, but as soon as you let that go, good people, you're gonna start to grow. I ain't even playing that. But as soon as you let it go, you're gonna start to grow. Because it's people that don't like you, y'all, for no reason. Because it's a reason, but you didn't do nothing. 2-1, they're projecting whatever onto you. You remind them that they missed out on opportunities. You remind them that
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready?
Nope.
For a long journey where our podcast released a new appy, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day runs, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out.
Welcome in, everyone. Season 3, episode 7, Shaun Murphy's journey from resilience to transformation. Today's guest is the definition of resilience in motion. From the son of a single Caribbean mother to Army Staff Sergeant, to facing homelessness and financial struggle, and now standing as one of the most powerful voices in motivation, education, and social impact. This man didn't just beat the odds, he rewrote them. Known to the world as Mr. Motivation, he's turned pain into purpose into platforms, and platforms into real change. He's been recognized by Michelle Obama for his work with veterans. He leads the impactful nonprofit Wake the Beast and is the author of the upcoming book Unbreakable Valor, a blueprint for breaking limitations and building real success. He blends motivation with music, strategy with soul, and discipline with heart. And today he's here to break down what it really takes to rebuild your life from the ground up. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for locking in. Go ahead and lean forward and get ready to be inspired. Shaun Murphy's in the building. Shaun, how are you doing today?
Oh man, dope intro. Flat out excited to be. Thanks for having me, man. I'm super, super hyped.
Yo, I'm glad to hear it, man. And that's your life, man. That's your life. Michelle Obama hasn't had a connect with me, so Michelle, if you out there, I mean, I come on yours, you come on mine. We can do this.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to the origin story and identity. So you've lived multiple lives in one lifetime. It sounds like son of a single Caribbean mother, Army Staff Sergeant, professor, speaker. When you look back now, which version of yourself do you feel most connected to, and why?
Which version of me am I most connected to? I'll tell you this. I think growing up, my backstory, like you said, when I was born, my pops decided to roll out. Met him a time or two, never really broke bread, and then at age 6, I learned he was gunned down, gun violence, right?
Yeah.
And I think about, just going through life as a youth, struggling with that void and really not knowing how to deal with that. Shouts out to Mom Dukes, man. She's a rock. As I fast forward, I think about like not wanting to be a dad. I'm like, I don't even know what this looked like. Blueprint.
Yeah.
All the things, right? So I'd say fatherhood for me has been just dope, man.
Okay.
My daughter, she's 9 now. That's my girl. I remember she came. It's funny, we leave the hospital, or we about to leave, and they got her wrapped up, and I'm like, wait, nurse, you ain't going with us? You go home alone?
Yeah.
Ain't no manual? I was nervous, but you figure it out, right? You figure it out, and shouts out to wifey, we figured it out together, and I ended up going into, we had some help from family that didn't work out, so I was like, I'll do it. So I became a stay-at-home dad, and this is something, never even seen that in the cards. But I look at, being an educator, being a mentor, big bro, for the people and the other people, children, I'm like, well, I could do this for mine at a high level. And that's one of the things I really enjoy, took pride in. Like, I got to be a dope dad, regardless of my circumstance, regardless of what I didn't have. So I'd say that, and then fast forward my son, and he's 6, about to be 7 next week. Like, that's my G. You talk about the dude, like, he like, Daddy, you me and I'm you. Like, I'm like, yeah, So fatherhood for me has been it. I tell people, as you rattled off a few hats I wear, and I always leave when I'm a stay-at-home dad. And they're like, well, how you do that? Like, everything else fits around them. So fatherhood for me.
Hey, let's go back to that 9-year-old when he came home, and that nurse, their swaddle game is legit. When you took that first swaddle out, when you got to the crib, hey, who nailed it? You or wifey? Whose swaddle game was the best?
Hey, not me. Wifey. So my wife, I'm married to medicine. She's an OBGYN. So I think like she has that. That's her world.
Okay.
I figured it out, but and the swaddle is it. Listen, all my new dads out there, new parents, learn the swaddle game.
Yo, practice it.
That's it. I was super nervous, but here's the thing. Anything new, you got to seek out the people who's done it before you, who's doing it at a high level, like ask questions. Don't be afraid. You're going to mess up. You're a parent, your new parent. I'm a wife. We used to, man, her research game, library, story time, all the things. Here's what I'll share for my parents. My mindset going into parenthood, I said, all right, you know what? What human being do I want to be staring at age 18? I want them to be multiple languages, physically fit, mentally tough, able to negotiate, financially literate, sound, right? And now if that's what I want, I got to reverse engineer and I got to start in the womb. So you talk about reading to the belly, all the things, like really focus on language, vocabulary. So this is what I did before, you know what I mean? So this is how I was like my daughter now, you have a conversation with them too, it's special, but so it's really intentionality with the parenthood piece.
I'm really digging that, man. I see a kindred spirit. Вы говорите по-русски? Okay. I was just wondering, I'm doing the languages of my kids too, and I hit them. I hit them with that Russian. I got them doing that Russian, the largest country in the world. Yeah. We need to.
I like that. Now, see, not me. Now they used to watch all their shows in other languages. So Mandarin, we started with Mandarin early. Now my son's in the dual lingual program, so he's like Spanish all day, every day, inspiring me to go learn because wifey's already bilingual. She's Spanish fluent. So again, you learn from everybody. So my son coming, hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm like, hola, So now I got to sit down and learn that too.
Yo, we have to undertake, before I put my daughter to bed tonight, she was so proud to tell me she's got a 560-day streak in Duolingo. I'm happy if she's happy. There's some days I got to remind them, I was like, hey, you do them languages yet? So to that point, we want you broke the fourth wall with those new dads, but new dads, anything you want them to do, you better be able to do it. You better not forget, because they gonna remember you forget, and then it's almost it comes up. Well, how important was it to you, Dad? Because this is this just one of them tasks you just throwing the frisbee and you want me to go get it like a Labrador retriever, or does it mean something to you?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I show them the intentionality. Yeah, my streak is longer though. I mean, I'm at 680. I'm above her, but
that's so real. Just to really tap in on that point, dads. So reading's important, right? You see behind me, it's nothing but books. I can't just say go read. I got to model that 30-minute, hour reading. So in the morning time, morning work, I got my book out there. I'm going in so they can see what excellence needs to be. So definitely. Lead with modeling.
I hit him tonight, Mr. Motivation. I hit him tonight. So I got Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I hit him with some Sherlock Holmes tonight. I was like, okay, I got the podcast tonight. but I think I'm gonna hit them with 10 pages. I got to page 9, and Jokers was out. So so that Sherlock Holmes, new dads. Find the stuff to put them to sleep. Don't try to be cute with the cute stuff, the short stuff, or you're gonna be on book number 4 because you got them too anxious. You gotta hit them with the big words.
Yes. Yo, listen, and here's one of the best advice I got, dads. No limitations. I'm talking about when my daughter she might have been age 4 and a half. I had her doing SAT words. So they only SAT words because we call them SAT words. They just letters and words.
Yes.
And just going through it, just going like write it, say it, spell it, all the things, but not just know how to spell it and know the word. Like you gotta know what it means. You gotta know how to use it in a sentence.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because they be like, oh, that's cute. No. They can unpack that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, I want to share that with y'all.
I see what you're doing there. I like that path. I like that. I like to know that there's another dad out there that is holding them to that level, that standard. So I like that. When did you first realize that your life story wasn't just something you survived, but something you were meant to share?
When? This is a good one. You know, I don't know, maybe because I used to, you know, mentor people and really not know I was mentoring them. And then you start noticing, because life's about noticing patterns. You notice the pattern. People are coming to you, answering the same question. How did you do this? Well, you sidestep that. And I'm thinking, the struggle, you know. But what happens, and I'm going to encourage, you know, viewers and listeners, you got to share your story because your story ultimately for someone or people become the blueprint to help them get out of what you got through, right?
Yes.
You don't even know it. So I mean, I don't know when, good brother, but I know the realization came to me. Actually, I'll tell you this. I was now remember my story, dropped out of college. To for 15 years, now I'm a college professor. And I teach a course on how to be successful in college. I've taught at every level, 5th grade, 6th grade to college. And I'm in my class one time and I'm teaching, you know, about, you know, motivation, time management. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, every year I get to tap in 20 to 40 or 60 students. And this is good. But what about there's somebody in Africa that need this source, somebody on in Japan and in Iraq that need this. I need a bigger platform. And that's when the realization hit me. And I gotta expand this thing. And Mr. Motivation kind of gave birth organically to just a desire to impact on a greater scale, right? They ask you like, what's your purpose? For me, I say expansion. I'm not here to just hoard intel. I gotta share it. And I don't know that everybody's gonna seek information like me to share, to teach. So that's what I gotta do. And you may go get to this, but I'll share the Mr. Motivation name. I have a song, I think Cadence may allude to it, but think basic training, you running about 2-3 miles, actually 4. I didn't even want to be in A group, but drill song was like, Murphy, where you at? You in my A group, get in my A group. The A group is a fast one, they just take off. So we running, and Buddy go, we get to the water tower. We all set, privates. All right, privates is, you know, what we call recruits, soldiers training. And you're going to give it all you got. Oh, we about to be done. Man, we get to this dang on water tower, and this dude take off. I'm like, buddy, that wasn't the plan. But I tell you what, in my fatigue, in my desire to quit, you know, drill song hit that cadence, motivated, and that one that rock, you just dig deep. And I get people listening and viewing. I want it to be that cadence for you. When you tired of going forward, when you want to quit, when you just want to give up. If you hear something I say on my podcast, on my songs, on my talks, that just clicks for you to tell you now, keep going. That's what I want it to be. I want it to be that cadence for you. And that's how Mr. Motivation came about.
Okay. I was road guard for A group. So, you know, I was doing my thing. I was out front. I was out front. Dad took it seriously. I'm gonna protect them boys in the back. So however fast they run it, I'm running fast. I'm gonna stay up here. That's what I did. What tools did your upbringing give you that you didn't recognize as strengths until much later?
What tools did my upbringing give me?
You looked around, you was like, man, these are strengths that I'm pulling from my past.
I'll tell you this. So, to the story, single parent household, we was all the things, food stamps, Section 8 housing. And my mom's, I remember a few stories. One, I had, I don't know what them shoes are called, kangaroos or
with the pocket.
Nothing brand name. And I'd have a hole at the bottom and I had to scrunch my toe up, go back out there. Then I come in and get my mom's sneakers, go back out there. And I remember I never complained. One of my friends, I told him this story years ago. You never know what sticks. He's a lawyer, and I just seen one at his wedding. Shouts out to Jeff. He said, Murph, you got to tell that story more. I was like, really? But I'll tell the story. You got my fridge. You go to open the fridge. There's nothing there. Close it, I'm hungry. Go back, I'm playing. Hour later, I go back, open the fridge back up. Nothing there, go back. And what it was I had hope that the next time I open the fridge, I would see something. I didn't complain. This is just something I was doing internally. But that was optimism. When my mom, I had patience. Never complained. I had, matter of fact, one of the pair of pants I had never ate legal. Whole big old name. So I wear it 2-3 times a week. They're the same jeans. I should have got a regular pair of pants. But I didn't worry about what the people thought about me. And you look at that, you fast forward, you deal with anything you go into in this world, you got to deal with people. Patience, you got to have. Life's going to beat you up. You're going to be doubtful. You need hope, optimism, right? And these are things, when I look at my past, I'm like, dang, I was doing this early. You know what I mean? I leaned into just the ability to delay gratification. Boy, you went 10 years without. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go 10 days, 10 hours, 10 months. So that's a really good question, because I think oftentimes when we're going through the thing, it feels like we're getting hazed. You're like, oh, why me? But then in 10 years, you look back at, man, this instance, that setback, these series of failures put me in a position to lead how I lead today, to show up for the people I'm showing up for today. So when you're going through them storms, I'm a storm chaser. I want all the smoke with the storm, because you got to go through those storms, because those are tests in order to have the testimony, right? Yeah. So I welcome the storm. I encourage you to do the same.
Hey, I see that. I like that. When you were at rock bottom, at working towards reinvention, you've been open about experiencing homelessness and financial hardship. What was the exact moment you decided this ends now?
Yeah, great question. And I tell people, there's nothing I can say is Mr. Motivation. You can pick a motivation on anybody. It ain't about them. It's about you. It's about when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know I got out the military and I thought I had it. I mean, I'm E6 promotable, living the dream, decided I was over it, thought I was smarter than myself, and prematurely got out the military. And
I know you're about to get that double rocker.
Oh, I was close, And I was like, they really ticked me off, but and I wasn't like, what does freedom look like? But so I was E6P, I ran the S1 shop. And in Fort Leonard at the time, they was going in this transition, bringing in civilians to take the E7 slot. So I said, okay, my social capital's popping. I'm going to get out and get an E7 slot. But what I didn't realize, I didn't have no degree. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I just wasn't qualified for as a civilian. So I get out, and I'm like hating life. And brother, I remember just sitting still because, in this instance, and like I call this my blue funk. When I do my book about me, this chapter is the blue funk. I was a young promoter doing parties. So everybody knew me, Murphy the party dude, blah, blah, blah. I just had no money. I had connections, social capital. I had no money. So I was literally doing substitute teaching to live, to survive. And one day I was just like, I'm really just circling around poverty. Like I'm here still. And I'm remembering my youth. And I just can't go back to that. And while I was in Missouri at the time, I said, you know what? I'll struggle in New York. I'll go to New York and figure it out. Some people might think that's crazy, but I'll figure it out in New York. And that's the time. That was the move I made. My friends, they would have, because I literally was at their house because they were all still in.
Yeah.
And I went regular day, but I had my U-Haul packed up. And when they went to work, I got in that boy. I took off, and they called my neighbors called them, and yeah, I think Murph left. I didn't answer that phone until I got to Wheeling, West Virginia. And I said, fellas, I had to go. I knew y'all would talk me out of it, but I had to go. And here's the thing. Like, I remember what living in poverty was like. I remember like ripping food stamps off in the line, and the line's long. I need the 20, the 10. And I said, I just can't go back to that. And I felt like I was back on that trajectory, like downward slide. So that was it for me. I said, I'm tired of this. So what has to happen? I had to make some changes. So I changed my environment. I started seeking like my virtual mentors, and I talk about the 5 informative for success. And that literally was my blueprint for getting out of the pits, pursuing prosperity. I had to change my mindset. I was blaming my leadership. Them jokers ain't look out for me. They ain't tell me what was coming. I was blaming and complaining. I had to shift to a creative mindset. My motivation, I had to dig back. Like my mom's came here from Barbados. Her mother, illiterate. Her father, illiterate. Fisherman and sold the goods at the market. She came in. She created a path for me to touch success. I got to do something with that, right? Management. Yeah. I'm the CEO of my life. Who I have in my space, because proximity is power. I got to be intentional who I want to hang around. I got to start going to networking events. I got to start going to conferences, free things online, YouTube University. I had the massive movement, right? And I stopped chasing money. I had to chase my purpose. I had to lead with giving. A lot of times we want that quick fix. We chasing the bag, but you got to give to others. And when you give anonymously, that's even a higher level. So these are the 5 things I did. So now when I'm teaching this to my, those that's locked in, this is not something I read in a book. I applied these principles, these pillars to my life. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's how I got on this journey.
Yeah. I think you mentioned this here. You created a personal strategic plan to rebuild your life. Mm-hmm. What did that actually look like day to day, though?
Yeah, man. So everything I was doing, I just did the opposite because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
The opposite, man. Listen, when I'm telling you, and it takes work, but it takes time. And I think that's the thing especially today's society, we subscribe to this kind of microwave. This needs to happen. It's going to happen. But one, we talk about goal setting, and that's good, objective setting. It's not all just about the objective and the goal, y'all, because it's about who you become on the way in pursuit of this goal, because you have to change. The person that starts and the person 6 months out, those are different people. You got to be willing to change. Another thing I did, I was, I may have had some success in life in different spots, but when I'm starting something new and I'm on a pursuit of going to another level, I got to be all right with not being good. Like, you're going to suck for a while. I'm like the freaking new guy. And I'm all right with that. A lot of us are not. And that paired with just the fear, people going, look at me crazy. Who cares? You look like a fool for a year. But then that's going to be a lasting thing. You get me? I'll give you an example. And we'll probably get to this. So, motivational speaking. I wanted to differentiate myself as a speaker. So I said, what can I do different? I used to listen to this dude, Adam Won't Lose. He'd be like, dear hard work, I used to hate you. You made me better. And I used to listen over and over and over, over some beats, but he's talking. I'm like, I had a Les Brown moment. I could do this. So I called my guy, producer dude. He thought I was crazy. He's like, you ain't no rapper. I said, I know, listen to this though. He said, this is dope. So fast forward, he said, start writing. That was June, July. I said, I'm going to do this thing. I don't know nothing about this space. I told my kids, listen, You don't gotta be smart or talented to be successful, but focus, effort, you can do anything. Daddy don't know nothing about this spoken word, music world, but I want to do this thing. So I'm gonna lock in, right? That, and I wanted to expand my reach. So I lock in. 3 months later, listening party album's done. I did one rap, Murph-flow. I had to spit. I'm from Brooklyn, so I had to get in my J zone. And they were always, Murph, you're not a rapper. But here's the thing. I liked it, though. Like, I had this connection with, like, the rhythmic pattern, the music, the beats. And I was thinking it up, y'all. Like, my man, my creative director, Josh, will tell you, I couldn't string together my tempo to save my life. And I looked like a fool in front of him and a few other people. But I was all right with that. Because, see, I know my work ethic, I'm crazy with it. This is temporary. Murphy's going to be doing it. So fast forward, John, as a dad, y'all going to appreciate this. My daughter comes to me. This is year 3. I just left the stage and launched Music Fest, 20, 30-minute set, all music. And I mean, the crowd's going crazy. My daughter comes up to me, Daddy, you said you was going to do this. This is amazing. And fella, the intention is showing up, modeling. Like I told them, it takes time. You got to be all right with not being good, but you got to be consistent and committed to that thing. I don't got to make $5 off this thing. That message, that lesson, if my kids watching me, priceless, right?
Yep.
Priceless. So anything I want to do, and I did subscribe to getting my friends to buy in. They can kick rocks. I want to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to put in the work. And to this day, I do our motto, what do the greats do? They got a vocal coach? I need a vocal coach. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Because even when we start a business, we used to small business, start like your big business. Get the lawyer, get the accountant, all the things. So anything I do, it has to be at a high level. And that pushes me to push my energy, like to max out. So I encourage y'all. I said all that to say, just do what you want to do. Lock into that thing because you got everything you need to be great inside of you.
And as we started with that question, make sure that those new habits, you exercise them day to day.
Yes.
That's how it becomes part of who you are. He said it. He said the effort will be there every day. What's the hardest truth you had to confront about yourself during that transition? The hardest truth.
It just came to mind. So my girl, Lysandra, I was in Fort Leonard with. She was a civilian. And she told me this early, but I kept like reverting back to it. She said, Murph, you know everybody don't like you, right? I was like, really?
He's not for everybody.
I make it so easy to love me, you know. But she said, Murph, everybody don't like you. And it just hit me. I was just like, huh. So I had went through my phase not knowing the language for it, but I was a people pleaser. You know, you want everybody to like you. You know, oh, I'm cool, but as soon as you let that go, good people, you're gonna start to grow. I ain't even playing that. But as soon as you let it go, you're gonna start to grow. Because it's people that don't like you, y'all, for no reason. Because it's a reason, but you didn't do nothing. 2, 1, they're projecting whatever onto you. You know, you remind them that they missed out on opportunities. You remind them that they're slacking. You get me? So you're this constant reminder that for all intents and purposes, they may be a failure to them. But that ain't got nothing to do with you.
No.
And I had to realize that. I said, man. And once I started not giving 2 squirrels about what the people think, different level. You move different. You free. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you know, I'm gonna look crazy. So what? I'm all right with that. And when you subscribe to you just doing you, game changer. So yeah, that's one of the things I had to let go. And then, I mean, I'll pair that with, you know, just feeling like you belong in the room. You know what I'm saying? Because as a brother, in this world, I maneuvered strategically, and I'm in these spaces. I'm sitting on boards, nonprofits. I'm usually the only brother in the room. And for me, you know, I got that Brooklyn swag with me wherever we go. There's a quote we tell our kids, and I share with my mentees and those listening in my sphere of influence. Any room you walk in, that room just got better because you did. Okay.
Yep.
And when I walk in these rooms, my kids see I don't care who's in charge. Like I own the thing because you gotta have that energy. And you're not putting on, you just showing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Straight like that.
You got to be memorable.
Yeah.
If you go to the party and no one notices you, were you even at the party?
Were you even there? Listen, here's a hack. I do this all the time. Your handshake. Whoo. Fellas, lean in. When you shaking female's hand, give them a firm grip. Give them a firm grip. You don't know how much times I get, hey, I really appreciate that handshake. And it's a little thing. I grip their hand up, stare them in their egg whites. Shaun Murphy, nice to meet you. Or whatever I'm going by that day, Mr. Motivation. You know what I mean? But that handshake, you got to be memorable. And I say, whether it's a line, something witty, you know what I mean? There's 2 books I'll share with you. How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Make Yourself Unforgettable. Woo. When I walk in networking, it's unfair. Unfair. I'm coming to take over. And you're going to know I was there. And that's how y'all want y'all to show up.
No wonder they didn't like you. I got to follow that guy? Who put me here? So in that, how did your experience as an Army staff sergeant shape the way you lead today?
Yeah. So in life, you're going to have leaders, people in general, where they may rub you the wrong way. They may lead different. And then you're going to get to a place of their level eventually. And then you can do 1 or 2 things with it. You can say, oh, this is how they did me. I'm finna, hey, y'all got to get the same energy. Or you could say, I didn't really like that and appreciate that. I'm going to be a different leader. And for me, I had seen a lot of leaders that I just didn't like how they it was just all about them. It was like, well, this is what it is. Do what you got to do. I already did mine. And I wanted to be different. I said, nah, there's got to be a better way. When you lead with empathy, when you care about the people, like here's the thing. Any situation if I take over or the students, mentoring, coaching, whatever's important to you becomes important to me. And I'm intentional with that. I'm like, what's important to you? And I lock in and I make it important to me and I make it a part of my life. And when people who you lead see that, they'll go through the wall for you.
Agree.
Wall for you, you know what I'm saying? And I just model. So, and this is another thing. When I'm a young troop or working for somebody, I go full throttle. What you need, Chief? Got it, on it. Because that's the guy I want working for me when I'm at the top. So I model excellence, even as a stooge, as a private, whatever you want to call it on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? And so when I get to that level, hopefully the universe works in that favor to just give me that karmic thing back. So that's how I've been approaching it.
What lessons from the military carried over into entrepreneurship, and which ones did you have to unlearn?
What lessons from the military carried over into entrepreneurship? So 2 things. 1, I think being able to delegate. Being able to delegate, when you as an entrepreneur, you have this dream, and it's your baby. It's your baby, and I ain't got these people I need to help me. But I'm like, can I trust y'all with my baby though? It's hard, and it took time for me. Like not just because you got a team, you hiring them, you giving them tasks, and you overseeing them. No, you wasting energy. So that was one of the things, like delegate and being crystal clear with the vision. Like where we going as an org, your role in getting us there, and why you're important. Being able to articulate that to the team. And remember, leadership, provide purpose, direction, and motivation. It doesn't stop when you put the boots up. As an entrepreneur, the same thing. So that's one of the things. Just delegation, man. Delegation. There was something else that slipped my mind. You said from the military. Will translate over to entrepreneurship.
And which ones did you have to unlearn?
Unlearn. Yeah, I mean, I think military. I might have got this from the military because I always tell. Well, is that right? Huh? Here's some good questions, man. What did I have to learn? I mean, it may parallel with the just being able to delegate, because when the military, you don't really do it alone, huh? I don't know. I got to think about that. I mean, let me reserve the right to revisit that question.
Yeah. We can come back. We're gonna boomerang that one. It'll come back around. How did it feel to be recognized by Michelle Obama? You know, I talked about that when we first started here. And what did that moment symbolize for you personally?
Man, so backstory. I left the military, came home to New York, worked at NYU for a while, then took a job in Iraq as a contractor.
Yeah,
which was crazy and stuff. You know, I'll be walking to work, just a normal day's job, you know. But as a civilian, you ain't got you just got you.
Yep.
And I had a friend that introduced me to Teach for America, and I decided to, you know, this is a really abbreviated version. I decided to leave Iraq, apply to Teach for America, which, you know, high, like the acceptance rate, it was crazy. Historically, it was bringing in Harvard, grad alums, Yale, and I'm thinking, you know, I barely got through college, you know, but I had military, and they were really focusing on bringing in some military vets. Fast forward, I get in to Teach for America, and I'm in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, and it was a big deal for Delaware. It's the first time they brought TFA in, so when we came, you got the Secretary of Education, you got the mayor, all the things, highlights, and I'm like, huh. Now, I'm a little seasoned now, so usually, you know, recent college grads, I'm probably by 30 at this time.
Yeah.
So we coming in, we in a little van, and it was like, you know, Wilmington, Delaware, place to be someone. And I told them, I said, hey, listen, team, I'm about to be the face of Teach for America. They said, you just got here. I said, no, I'm telling you what I'm about to do, right? And my mindset was different. Hey, they, you know, I'm a new corps member, happy to be teaching in the classrooms. Me, hey, listen, Shaun Murphy, I'm TFA. Let me tell you how we about to change the dynamics of education here. Those are two different people, right? So when I came in with that spirit of absolute certainty, it's the law of attraction. I kid you not. 3 months into teaching, I still don't know how this happened, but the newspaper found me and they wanted to do a story. Military vet goes back in education, all the things. So that's when it started. Then I'm in there, you know, year two, they ask you, what's next year look like for you? Did 2 years in Teach for America? What's after this? And I said, you know what, if I may, I think we should focus on bringing in veterans like me into TFA, because historically, troops to teacher is the lane you go from military service to education. But TFA, that was a machine. That nonprofit is a machine. And I said, well, TFA's engine, this is a big thing. So they, you know, listen to me or not. Year 3, I get an email about, am I interested in this role of running the TFA Veterans Initiative? I'm like, what I told you about last year? Oh, yeah, I have interest. You know? So fast forward, a 12-page PowerPoint turns into You Serve for America, Now Teach for America, national initiative that I'm now leading. And man, what an initiative. Because think about it, I left the classroom and that was hard. My scholars were like, yo, Mr. Murph, where you going? I said, I'm going to bring more people like me to serve this, you know, community. And, you know, it's hard to wrap your head around that as a 6th grader, but it was what it was. And I went and we hit the ground running. Fast forward, I remember we had to go brief somebody in D.C. It might have been Michelle Obama, chief of staff. But then fast forward that February or so, I get a call. I forget this guy's name. It pains me. But Michelle Obama's speechwriter, he called me and say, Shaun Murphy, your name came across our desk and Michelle Obama wants to, you know, acknowledge you. I said, Michelle who? Michelle? I'm like, what, boy? Get off my phone. I was so confused. But he was legit. And I just showed that to say how we got here. So now I'm invited. I'm going down to the White House. And it's nothing but preparation. Any meeting I go to, prepare. You don't know who you're going to meet, prepare. What are 3 things you're going to say? It depends on the stage, because some of us can get starstruck. So you want to default to the level of your preparation. So regardless if you get starstruck, you still know I got this. At least one of these questions I got to get out. And that's I was prepare. So I get in there, and man, I'm a dude from Brooklyn. I'm from the hood, the trains, and I'm at the White House clearance, buddy. Unreal, right? Unreal. And what it meant for me, I was representing my scholars. I was representing my scholars because I told them I was leaving to do something bigger. I didn't know exactly what bigger was looking like, but now I'm here in the White House representing. He told, she said, sixth grade educated. Yeah, that's y'all. I'm y'all guy. That's me. So that was super dope. Memorable moment, man. And even for my mom to just think about all the sacrifices she made to put me in a position to do great things. So yeah.
We were talking education. Let's get to education and impact. What pulled you towards education after the military, and what did teaching give you that the battlefield couldn't?
Mm-hmm. So back to I'm in Iraq. I'm making buku bucks. First 80, 90,000 tax free. Like no reason for me to come home. But one of the reasons was, see, for me, my educational journey. I have this piece called Trauma Education. So it wasn't all rosy and green sky, blue skies, and all that, but even though I had a bad experience in education, I remember they wanted to put me in special ed. I'm like, how you do that? I skipped the first grade. What you mean? Like I don't have a learning problem. You not engaging me. And I became the special ed teacher. So now I understood what should have been happening for me.
Yes.
So I always tell my scholars I wanted to be the leader in education that I didn't have.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, because I care different. Like when Scooby come in wilding out, it's not a behavior problem. Did he eat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was the journey? Because I used to walk from my apartment I walked through the hood to get to school. Like I know what he went through. What did they go through on the way to get to school? Because I know I used to go through 3 different gang territories to get to school. What was the journey like? How am I receiving them? So all the teachers don't think like that. You know what I mean? They go by the book. Come in, sit down, do this, do that. No. Before we get there, we got to build connection. So I brought that to the classroom, and I listened to my scholars, and I'll tell you what they taught me. Special ed teacher, right? I had the one dude, man, Brick, rest in power, my G. Brick was a young dude, real quiet, introvert. And I said to Brick, listen, Brick, we got some work to do this year. Me and you and my partners, we're going to get you to that next level. So our big thing was to have them grow, I want to say it was 2.5 years in the reading level in one school year.
Oh.
Listen, when we locked in, and we was locked in step, like, hey, Straw, what are you doing with Brick to get him engaged in social studies? Oh. Hey, Marla, what are you doing? How do you get this dude to talk? And that collaborative approach, man. Buddy grew, I don't want to misquote, had to be 6 or 7 grade levels in 1 year. Now you're talking before school, after school, weekends, and we was locked into our scholars, all boys middle school.
Yeah.
And one thing it taught me, the sense of possibility. The sense of possibility. Like, I don't care how you come to me. I'm like, no, it's possible. We can do it. Because I've seen what doing impossible looks like. And I think about, in the military, we did some crazy things, but like at that level to like, and here's the thing, a lot of teachers don't even believe they're able to grow 1 level, let alone 2, let alone 6.
Yeah.
You get me? So you gotta believe, but I'm a Brooklyn dude. I got that delusional self-confidence. Like, and I used to bring that to anything I'm doing. And even though I might not I don't know how we're gonna grow this 2 years, but we're gonna grow. We're gonna figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the energy we need in the classroom. And I'm gonna make a call to brothers tapping in. We need more men, black men in the classrooms. There's some dudes and dudettes need you. Tap in. I think one of the things that stop us, because you growing up in the hood and unfavorable situations, you just trying to chase that bag. But if we really tap into that financial literacy component, there's this book from David Bach, Automatic Millionaire. That's when I learned the couple, they made 80 grand combined, and they had houses, boats, all the things. So it's not about you making six figures. It's how you managing the 550,000 you making. So we start really being intentional on, like, in the colleges, getting our brothers to understand that financial literacy component. We could tap into. We need you to commit to service in this educational space.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to look that book up.
Yeah.
How did your work with Teach for America reshape how you think about access and opportunity? You said you wanted to be the teacher that you didn't have to reach you. Access and opportunity. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's what it's about. And I think when you put dudes like me, the Straw, the Jack Perrys, into the classroom, Jared Burks, because we used to, I mean, we those are our boys, man. I wasn't a teacher. Those are our boys. I'm talking, we go to games. We show, remember, listen, once your mind's exposed to something, a concept, idea, experience, it can never go back. So when we leveraging our community, we leveraging our access to show our boy. I think, did I do a day trip to New York? I can't remember. I think I did a day trip in New York or Philly. And our boys is like looking at the skyscrapers and they like, yo, I ain't never seen that like this. That's what it's about. And as a teacher, I'm just a teacher. Well, first of all, you're not just anything. Anything you are, be that, do that, right? And it's leveraging that, and I think we were just bridging gaps, and we could do so much more with the word we use, intentionality. And a lot of our teachers, especially when they go to alternate route, they have lived other careers. Let me tell you, I'll tell you some stories about who joined the Corps. Brett Chappell, Navy SEAL, teaching math. I had a lieutenant colonel in San Antonio join the Corps after retiring. He saw his daughter, the impact she was having in the classroom, and decided to join Teach for America. Okay. There's some type of people we was bringing to the classroom. And you talk about access, you know the stories they getting told in them classrooms.
Yes.
This ain't no textbook curriculum. This is real life. And that's the work I was doing. I was just loving life. And was it hard work? Sure. Were they overworking me? Absolutely. But the same thing happened in the military, you know what I'm saying? So I just brought that same energy. It was like a continuing to serve in a different capacity. Yeah.
Wow. you want to get in that overtime, huh? No, it's all salary. It's all salary. When a student's life truly changes because of something you said, how's that hit you emotionally?
I'll tell you this. I'm a storyteller, y'all.
Let it flow.
When you teach middle school, it's like a 401k. You're not sure the return on investment as an educator, right? Unless you really stay with them over the course of time. I've been fortunate, y'all. Two things. Ryan Thompson, he called me maybe 2-3 years ago. He said, Mr. Murphy, I used to think you was a crazy old man. But now he was doing a summer school. He said, I'll be saying the same thing you were saying to me, and I'm teaching my students. I was like, really? That's crazy. Because, when they're in it, they're like, this dude wilding. But I'm like, I have your best interest. But one of my favorite dudes, man, Jordan Perk. Perk, I taught him he was 7th grade when he came to me. And I was when he hit 1,000 points in basketball, I drove back. When he graduated, drove back. One of the things I always told him, because I was inspired by one of my teachers, Miss Green. She was so fly. I'm talking about fly. She'll show up fly. And her whole life was just like, where you going this week, Miss Green? So I became Miss Green to my boys. They were like, where you going, Mr. Murphy? And I said, listen, when y'all turn 21, we outside. And Perk, he was 22. Him and Zeb, I took him to Atlantic City. And we had a weekend just rocking out. And I brought my camera crew. So we documented some of the things. And he was talking about the stories about me sharing with them and opening up. Bro, I remember I went to Africa, and I took so much copious notes. I couldn't wait to get back to share with my boys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the level that we was connected at. And Jay Perk just visited me probably 2 months ago. So that relationship went from like teacher student to like, mentee mentor, big homie. Like that's the homie,
Yeah.
and that's so beautiful, man. I tell educators, it's bigger than the books and the curriculum. It's how you show up. It's you being consistent, being authentic, just keeping it 100. You know what I mean? When you mess up, own it. You know what I'm saying? But that's been my experience in the classroom, man. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Wake the Beast and social change. What was the original spark behind founding Wake the Beast?
It's crazy. Y'all listen. I'm tell y'all, viewers and listeners, journal. I'll tell you why. I just maybe 6 months ago, I was looking. I just moved again. Well, not again. I ain't moved in 12 years, but I found a journal, and I said, start a nonprofit. Found it, Wake the Beast, and I said, dang, I wrote this years ago.
Yeah,
and it's come to real life, right? So, Wake the Beast, it's just about combating scarcity mindset, empowering military veterans, youth, and adults to live out their max potential. And what I found across two spectrums, military, they coming out, my soldiers, service members, when they transition, it's like they lose their identity. It's like, I'm a Marine, always been a Marine. Now I'm not. What am I now? And it's like, dang. And it's like hard for that transition to happen. Similarly, my college student, even my high schoolers, they don't know what's next. And you say they're high school, they figure it out. But some kind of something, and a lot lack clarity, can't communicate what they want out of life. And I was like, dang, I see an opportunity here to create a platform to help. Yep. And remember, I told you everything in life, this is about giving. So this is my give back vessel. This is how I'm going to do that exact thing. So like, my 5 Informant for Success course, how do I give this to the people? I'll raise grant funding, then I can help people. So that's vehicle was set up to be able to give more. There's a book, The Go Giver. Go check it out. It's about the 6 laws of stratospheric success. I'll just talk about the last law, because I say lead with giving. But the last law is the law of receptivity, where you allow yourself to receive. Like, it's going to come back. Don't worry about it. You just give. You got to give and don't give to get back. Just give to help people. And listen, there's 3 ways of giving. You give your 3 T's, your time, your talents, and your treasures. I will always also suggest community board service. Board service, joining boards, nonprofit. I didn't know nothing about a board. And I ended up, when I did learn, they couldn't get me off a board. But that's where that's the source. The boards control everything. And what I found, some of these boards are, working with, say, with people in poverty, underprivileged people, but no one on the board represents that experience. So how are they making these decisions? They need you. Mm-hmm. They need you who struggle, you who's homeless, who's now a real estate investor, to sit at these tables. And when they're thinking about, let's just have this meeting at 3 o'clock, or 3 o'clock, people at work, regular people, you got to be a voice on the board for the voiceless. So I'm encouraged board service, and I've served on Habitat, Leadership Lancaster, scores of board, economic development boards. They need us, brothers. Representation is slim pickings. And a lot of times they overuse us. When you're in an area and you're a brother that's doing things, they want you on all the boards. You can't be on all the boards. They want you to really have impact.
Yeah. When you came on, were there any items in particular that you wanted to get to that we didn't get to this point?
Sure. I'd love to talk about my book. So I dropped the book this May, Unbreakable Valor. Triumph through the soul of resilience, y'all. Listen, this is about, embracing failure, being resilient. What's that look? Being a storm chaser. And before I even get there, I'm going to give my man some flowers. Ron James, they brought me out to Allentown, PA to give a talk. And after the talk, we rocked the stage, high school, middle school. Ron, we sat down. Ron said, "Hey, Murph, listen, where's your book? Your book is your business card. I said, huh. And I paused and I leaned back. And I left that table and I ain't stopped till I got this thing published. You know what I'm saying? And I just Ron and I never listen. Ron and I hadn't spoke since that day. Ron just DM'd me on TikTok last week. This is probably 3 years ago. And I had to say, yo, Ron, I got to tell you, I've been talking about you for the last 2 years. And we spoke a week ago. And I had to give him his flowers because he lit the fire up under me to get this thing going. Yes. And a lot of times that inspiration, you don't know where it's coming from, y'all. But when it comes, it speaks. You got to sit still and listen. And then you got to put in the work. You get me? So I'll show y'all Unbreakable Valor, Triumph Through the Soul of Resilience. I definitely, tap in. They got to be being anchored in faith. What is resilience, man? This is a good one. And definitely you hit me up on any of socials. We'll love to hear your thoughts. But that's one of the main things I wanted to share with the people.
What part of your story in Unbreakable Valor was the hardest to write?
The part that was the hardest to write. That's a good question. Who writes your material, man? You pretty good.
I got time, brother. I will pull over my car when something hit. I pull over my car, pull out this little phone, and I jot it down.
It's a lot of nuggets in here. So, which one was the hardest to write? I think there was one chapter. It's called "Come Back from Broken." You know, it's a black dude, hood. We got that chick. I'm so and so.
Yeah.
And to admit you've been broken, it's tough. It's hard. I think about I was writing this one song, My Temple, more spoken word than anything, and I wrote it. It was good, and then wifey came in. She's like, I think you could go deeper. It's too surface. And I was like, and that was my easy way out. And of course, I was annoyed because I'm thinking it's done. But sometimes in life, you got to sit still and go deep. And I'm gonna challenge the brothers. I'm reading some books now. Ways of the Superior Man, was The King, the Magician.
Yeah.
And I'm encouraged y'all to peel back those layers and let people in. It's hard though, right? Because us historically, you let people in, they do damage. Brene Brown helped me with this. She talks about the power of vulnerability being a superpower. She said, "You're not in the ring fighting with me, face marred and scratched. You can't judge me. You can't judge me." And good brothers, when you start surrounding yourself with this type of content and this type of learning and these lessons, it gives us whether it's the word or opportunity to embrace that, to live in that. So for me, even though that was hard, like it's going to help a lot of people. And one of the quotes I live by that keeps me going when I'm going through a storm is, who loses if I don't win? Who loses if I don't win? And I keep pushing forward, thinking about that.
Look, for everybody listening, if this last hour didn't hit you in the chest, I need y'all to go ahead and check that carotid artery, or if you do the cuff, check your pulse. Today we didn't just have a conversation. This was a masterclass in resilience and in discipline, in purpose, and what's truly possible when you refuse to let circumstances write your ending. From your military service to homelessness, from education to national impact, First Lady, Shaun just reminded us that setbacks are setups, and that your story isn't over just because the chapter got dark. Make sure y'all tap in with the incredible work he's doing through Wake the Beast. We mentioned, keep your eyes open for his powerful new book, Unbreakable Valor. Get it? Because if today moved you, that book is going to challenge you to another level. And if this episode added value to your life, do me a favor. I want y'all to like it, share it, Send it to someone who needs a push right now. They out there. And if you're not subscribed, you know, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? As always, this is Talking with Donato. Real stories. And we just met some real growth. I appreciate you, Mr. Motivation. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you, brother.